What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you have not seen already, One Piece chapter 1138 has dropped, and boy oh boy, did it ignite the fandom. We got
This
people who had fallen
has
out of One Piece coming back. We got people who had lost
piqued my
interest coming back,
interest
people
again.
making videos, people doing 8-9 hour discussions, multiple videos in a day. The timeline was bumping. This was one of those chapters. Elbaf is proving itself to be one of the best arcs we're gonna have, especially post time skip. It might even be a top 5 in general. Of course, we're still early, so that's hard to call, but this kind of hype just can't be matched. And obviously most of the hype is coming from that last panel we got, which depicts basically the 3 worlds that the state of One Piece has been in for the entirety of the story. We are talking endgame lore here. And if you're not familiar with my reviews or reactions to the chapters, you can check out my podcast, Blurred Out Podcast, on the Blurred Out Podcast channel. You can check it out on Spotify as well, where I talk in depth about it. But I also talk about it here because this main channel is a One Piece channel. So let's talk about that last panel a little bit, because it had so much information packed in that it's hard to get it all in one session of talking. And I mean, there's so many. It's almost like an Easter egg hunt, right? Where we look through this entire mural and we just count how many things we can find that we recognize. I mean, we see things like the Arc Maxim, the Noah. We see all of the races uniting together. We see Lunarians, we see Giants, we see Loki, we see Shirahoshi, Tontadas, Fishmen. Everyone banding together, trying to fight this great evil. We even see things like Mother Flame. We see the Ancient Kingdom. We see Ancient Monsters, the Moon. So many theories about the Moon are coming back, where Enel, he's been on Verth this entire time. And now this is his perfect way back into the story. The moon has so much significance now that it's even made it to murals. You know, we've been pondering on the moon since, what, Clover? Clover and the O'Hara scholars had the giant kind of like planetarium where they had the planet and then a bunch of moons circling around it. I think it's like 6 or 7 moons or such. Like the lore that came with this one mural alone just can't be matched. And it brings up something that I wanted to discuss about Elbaf in general, which is that in the mural, we see that everyone's fighting together against this crazy evil, right? Or what is signified as evil. We still don't really know who's good and who's evil in all this, which is another crazy thing. Because we know that the sun god, that Nika, brings on change. Whether it's good change or bad change, we really don't know. In fact, I think the speculation goes as the first time it was good change, the second time it was bad. Based on the kind of text, the Harley text, it seems like that's how it went. And then this third time, we're a bit undecided on what's going to happen. But if you observe the mural, you'll see that everyone's fighting together. And one of the things that Ripley mentions in this chapter is that as far as Ripley's been alive, as far as Ripley known, they've never fought with other races. They've only fought against other races. So that means during the Void Century, essentially, giants were fighting alongside other people. They weren't warmongers. What's interesting enough about that is there's another country that used to fight openly with the world, but is now closed off. And I'm thinking of Wano. Wano, 800 years ago during the Void Century, had their borders open. But for whatever reason, whatever happened during this century, they closed them off. So we have now 2 amazing nations that have closed themselves off from the world after whatever happened in this century, which is so fascinating. It's so interesting to see that these places, they were once unified and now they're all divided. But the odd thing is that they're not divided against necessarily the big bad, they're divided against everyone. Whereas the giants fight everyone. Wano is closed off to everyone. It's not just like they're avoiding, say, like the world government. They're avoiding everybody. They don't want anything to do with anybody anymore. So that's what I really find interesting, because it kind of goes into the theme of who's good and who's bad. Is the world government acting on bad terms? Is it possible that they actually have good intentions, but you have to carry out in the negative way possible? And something else that Wano and Elbaf also have in common is that they essentially have people that want to open up their borders. You have King Harold, who wanted to return to a place where he worked with other people. He didn't want to be seen as a warrior nation of warmongers. He wanted to be seen as peaceful. He wanted the giants to work with other nations. And you look at Wano, and you have Odin, who wanted to open the borders again. He felt like the borders should be open and Wano needs to interact with the world. What's also crazy is that you have both of these people who were killed off before that could be achieved. King Harold never got to see his dream, Odin never got to see his. And even with Momo still hasn't opened the borders, so that dream has not been achieved yet. And while in Elbaf we have people who believe in this peaceful regime, namely the kids that are being raised that way, it's very possible you have some people who don't agree with that. And that's kind of one of the things I want to hit, because what's going on in Elbaf right now is really fishy. And the story is set up to where King Harold wanted to be peaceful with the rest of the world. And in doing so, like he tore off his horns to show that he didn't have those same familial ties with ancient giants, the warmonger race. He wanted to be seen as peaceful, and he wanted to extend an olive branch to the rest of the world. And apparently, Loki was against that. Loki wanted to seize the throne, take the power for himself. And a great battle ensued between Loki and King Harold, in which King Harold died, Loki survived, all of the guards in the castle died, except for Jarl. And that strikes me as odd. That strikes me as very odd. Why did Jarl survive? How did the 100 other guards die, but Jarl make it out? And if Jarl made it out, if he didn't get killed, why didn't he stop Loki? What happened between Loki and Jarl to where Loki was able to basically go off and do whatever he wanted to do, be a pirate, and Jarl just didn't get killed? Why would Loki stop if he was killing King Harold and the rest of the giants? Why would he be like, all right, Jarl, you're fine, you can go? And why is the castle sealed off? Why would that, even if it's a place of, death, even if it carries bad omens, why was it sealed off so suddenly? It was sealed off to the point where they didn't give the bodies a burial. They just left the bodies in the castle, where you have a bunch of skeletons in a room now. And to say that no one is permitted to go in there, not even say Heidruden, who is the king's son, is not allowed to go in there. Yet they have giants who patrol the area, but obviously they don't go into certain rooms. They kind of just patrol and look out for other people. What is the setup here? And if you think about it, the only person who can create a narrative for this scenario is Jarl. Considering Jarl's the only survivor in the guard, no one's going to believe whatever Loki says. He was pretty much given the moniker of the evil child, the devil child, the cursed child when he was born. So he never had a chance to prove himself if he was innocent. And if Loki was so bent on destroying Elbaf and the people that are in it, why did he leave and become a pirate? Why didn't he just stay here and rule through power or kill anyone who, went against him? You would think of a cursed person who just wants to watch Elbaf burn. You think he would do that, but no, he went out to sea. And what ended up happening is that Shanks ended up bringing him back. Shanks in the New World fought him, brought him back here, and they have him tied up on the World Tree. And is there a reason for that? Why would Shanks bring Loki back here for any reason? Like, what Shanks, say, fought Kid, right? And Kid is a wanted pirate. He has a bounty on his head. The red-haired pirates fought them, took one of Kid's arms. That's about it. They didn't turn him in. They didn't send him back anywhere. So it's almost like Shanks was commissioned to do this. It's almost like someone was like, hey, Shanks, if you do this, we can make you a Yonko. And maybe not even to that degree, but someone definitely could have been like, hey, Shanks, we need you to do this. In a similar vein to how Shanks was the one who stole the Gum Gum fruit in the first place. Why did he know to target that ship? And why did he specifically steal that fruit? I would say that Shanks has some intel. So my prediction about Elbaf, and from what we've gained from this mural, from what we've gained from the story I've been told so far, is that, and it's pretty, I would say widely accepted that Loki might not be the bad guy here. The setup is either going to be on Jarl's part or King Harold's part. It's very possible that King Harold was doing some underhanded stuff, and Loki got scent of it, tried to stop him, and then because King Harold died in that fight, they paint Loki as the villain. It could also be the idea that a lot of the old heads, the giants that just probably 300, 400 years old, didn't rock with trying to be a peaceful nation. They wanted to be warriors, they wanted to be warmongers, and they saw King Harold trying to usher in an era of peace, and they're like, nah, get him out of here. And it's entirely possible that in doing so, fought off the other giants, which would explain why most of them died and why Jarl lives. Jarl has a sword in his head that looks remarkably like King Harold's sword. It's entirely possible that through some way, shape, or form, King Harold died keeping Loki alive, and Loki basically fled. I think to me that makes the most sense because, again, Jarl was left alive. If Loki was clean, crisp, Loki just defeated King Harold and all the other warriors, I am positive he could have killed one more. I don't think Jarl was the one that was like, yeah, I'm gonna stop you. Because if that was the case, King Harold wouldn't be dead right now. So I fully expect Jarl to be hiding something, and for us to figure that out in the upcoming chapters. Again, such a hype chapter, so insane, so much lore. You're gonna be seeing tons of videos on it. I love when Oda does things like this because it reignites the fandom. It brings back that vigor that we all missed. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.